Let's quickly jump to the inputs. The project management plan, of course, will act as an input for many processes. The project documents, again, the same thing. Whatever documents I mentioned here, they are the unupdated versions are used as inputs. And the organizational process assets is also important inputs. I'm rushing to the tools. Data gathering techniques, we have learned before. Data analysis techniques, we have also learned before. But what happens here is, for managing the quality, you can use root cause analysis as the main tool. Root cause analysis, right? So usually, 5W1H. 5W1H, let me write it down. 5W1H or 4W1H. It's like you ask the question why, when, who did it. Such questions are asked, and then we arrive at the root of the quality. So, and another similar tool can be, we ask the questions 5 times. Like, a problem has occurred. This is a problem. Why has it occurred? We get some answer. And then why has it occurred? We get some answer. Why has it occurred? We get the answer. So like this, we reach the root of the problem. Keep on asking, why did that happen? Why did that happen? Why did that happen? And then we reach to the root of the problem. So such data analysis methods can be used. Clearing it all. Decision making is a very good technique. We have learned that before. So data representation, what kind of data representation can we do for managing the quality? Again, the flow charts can be used, the histograms can be used, the Pareto charts can be used, fishbone diagram. So fishbone diagram is nothing but the cause and effect diagram. It's like you have the end problem listed here, and then we, in a brainstorming session, we start posing all the different possible reasons for it. Possible reasons. These need not be the root causes. So for a defect X to happen, reason A, reason B, reason C, reason D. All these things could be the reason for problem X to occur. And then for A to happen, again, further reasoning is done. For example, 1, 2. Similarly, for B to happen, what more branches? You can see this is in the form of a fishbone. So this is called a fishbone diagram, or we have causes here and we have effect here. So that is why it is called cause effect diagram. So this is designed by famous Ishikawa, the Japanese quality inventor. So this is also called Ishikawa diagram. So 3 names for it: Ishikawa diagram. So this is called Ishikawa diagram, fishbone diagram, cause and effect diagram. All these are the same names for this. So that is a very important data representation tool. You might get one question on this, or even you might not. So don't worry too much. Audits serve as a very good tool to manage the quality. And what is design for X? Sounds interesting, right? So design for X is nothing but, again, let me use the pen tool. Design for X. What does it mean? So X can be manufacturing, X could be cost, X could be assembly, X could be reliability, anything. You can keep on adding to the list. That means when you read this statement out, it's like design for manufacturing, design for cost, design for assembly, right? So when you are designing something, you have to make sure that the product, for example, a pencil has to be designed for manufacturing. It should be easy for manufacturing. It should be designed for cost. It should be cost effective pencil. It should be designed for assembly. We are getting mechanical pencils now. So if we are designing that, so we have to make sure that it is designed for assembling it properly. And then it has to be designed for reliability. It has to be reliable once it goes into the market. So that is this design for X. For every aspect that you can think of, you have to design the product for that. You cannot just design the product for manufacturing and then ignore the cost. No, that's not the case, because we will lose a lot of money just for manufacturing or just for using that. The pen or the pencil becomes more expensive. That's meaningless. So that is why this X is given, because everything is applicable here. So this is an important tool. Every time a product is made, it is verified by the designers, whether it is designed for manufacturing, whether it's designed for cost, designed for assembly or not. All these discussions happen with multiple parties. Right? Designer's job is not easy. And then problem solving techniques. We have learned some of them, but this is actually quite specific to the product because here the problem occur on the product, right? So instead of using generic tools, some industry approved standard practices are followed for that particular product. And finally, the quality improvement methods, like we have discussed this TQM, total quality management, Six Sigma, all these improvement methods are also followed to manage the quality. Moving on, controlling the quality. So this is also done throughout the project before we move to the outputs. So just keep that in the back of your mind. So let's have a quick look at the outputs. What do we have to do? We have to control the quality measurements. So this is nothing but the documented results of the quality control activities. So verified deliverables, all the requested deliverables reported after the suitable inspections. Work performance information, this is about how the product has formed, how many rejections happened, what corrective actions were implemented. It talks about that. The change requests are recorded after the process is done, and then the project management plan is updated, project documents are updated. Let's move to the inputs. Project management plan, of course, it is used in almost all processes as inputs. For example, here the quality management plan can be the source as input. Project documents like lessons learned register, again, or the quality metrics, all these things can be used as inputs. Approved change requests can serve as inputs. All the deliverables listed, work performance data that is done so far, and of course the enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets serve as inputs to us. I'm rushing it out because we have learned all these things before. If we have not learned something, then I'll stop and then try to explain you much better. Data gathering tools as tools, we have learned these. Data analysis techniques, we have learned enough of them, I think. Inspection, okay, here different inspection methods suitable for the product design are used. I think we have also talked about this. Same for the testing. We have learned the data representation, and finally the meetings. Okay, with that said, I think you already know that control quality is much easier in all three. Managing quality was a bit difficult. So with that, we end this knowledge area of the project quality management. Let's see what we have in the project resource management. So we have ended another project management area. This is the next project knowledge area. So project resource management. What is this? This process was earlier. When I say earlier, it was before the 6th PMP guide in 5th and 4th. This used to be called as human resource management. So starting from 6th PMP guide and also the 7th, we have seen that this is being called project resource management, not just human resource management. Why? Because now the PMI and thinks through its PMP guide that not just the humans, but also other aspects, like machinery, the tools, the infrastructure, everything acts as a resource for a product to come out. So it makes a really good sense to consider that way too. So that is why from 6th guide PMP onwards, it is being called the project resource management instead of just the human resource management. So here you get to learn the processes which control the other resources, not just human resources. Okay, let's have a quick look at the processes that we have. Here we have 6 processes to cover, starting with the planning of the resource management. What do we do here? Here we define how to estimate, acquire, manage, utilize all the physical team resources. In estimating the activity, we learn how to estimate the number of raw materials, the machines, the standard parts, nuts and bolts. Just a few examples. Acquired resources, how to procure the machinery, how to acquire a building, the facility for the office, how to acquire a land for the manufacturing plant, even deals about human resource recruitment. All these things are part of this acquire resources process. And then develop a team. I think we have learned about this in the introduction class. There are 2 ways to develop a team. One, you either develop an existing team or you get to choose a team from scratch, right? So 2 methods. And managing the team, here we learn how to track the team performance, right? How to provide them the feedback, all these things. Finally, controlling of the resources. This deals with, how the allocated resources are performed, and different monitoring techniques. All these things we get to learn in the control resources. So before we go much deeper or learn these processes, as a project manager, you have to be aware of the environment in which the team is working. It is important to get a sense of behavioral patterns of the team, the emotional intelligence. I think I already covered this emotional intelligence topic in our first class. it comes quite handy here, because here we are dealing with humans. So they are people just like us. They are not just a head count or a number. So in fact, using the emotional intelligence is one of the latest trends in the process, right? So we are talking about latest trends in all the knowledge areas. So in this knowledge area, the emotional intelligence, the use of emotional intelligence is a trending process. So if we talk about other emerging trends, some resource management methods, some new methods like just in time. Let me write it down. JIT. It is famously called just in time. So this is becoming trending nowadays. Kaizen. Kaizen is also another Japanese word. Kaizen is a small improvement, towards the process. So Kaizen is also a very trending topic. And then we have discussed TPM, the total product management, total quality management. All these things we have learned.